The doctor is in. Welcome everyone to the second episode of The Love Doctor here on SPTV. Thank you for tuning in to another episode full of love advice and commentary. We hope you are all enjoying this lovely fall weather and maybe even crunching in the leaves with someone special. You may wonder how I myself, the Love Doctor, have enough authority to advise you on this subject. Well, do any of us really know what we are doing in relationships? Seriously, I mean, really. However, I would like to think that I have guessed my way through pretty darn well. Today I have with me two guests, Julia and Forrest.
Hi, I'm Julia Flaherty. I don't really have a lot of recent experience in relationships, but I watch my friends go through a lot, so.
And I'm Forrest Pane. I'm a straight shooter, and I've got plenty of experience with relationships, I think, and I hope to do my best here on the show and really guide our viewers.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. We look forward to it. All right, well with that, we'll go to our first segment now with Take It to the Streets. This week we went to the Dreyfus University Center and asked students what their ideal first date would be and if they would kiss or not on a first date. Let us take a look at what they had to say.
I guess my ideal first date would probably be maybe a concert of music that we both have in common. And I guess I would probably kiss on the first date if he's a gentleman.
My ideal first date would probably be watching a movie in like a dorm or room, not in a theater, and having it be a movie that we've both seen before, so we can still talk during it. And I would kiss on our first date because kissing is fun.
My ideal first date, I would probably say sunset next to a lake, probably on like a boat or something like that, with a little Troy motor so there's no noise, and then just play a little soft music in the background and get to know the girl I'm with. And would I kiss on the first date? Kind of depends. She's showing me a little something, maybe just a little bit, but if she's not giving me the move, I gotta back off. That's all I got.
My ideal first date would have to probably just be taking a girl out to dinner, probably going bowling afterwards, doing something fun, just getting to know her. I probably would not kiss her on the first date just for the fact I'm trying to get to know someone on my first date. So yeah.
Well, you know, with a first date, I really think it's important, you know, not to go to a movie theater where you're just going to be sitting there the whole time silent, because that can be really awkward and you really don't get to know each other at all. I would say my ideal first date would be just, you know, walking on a nature trail or through the woods, really somewhere where you can get familiar with each other and talk, you know, not very extravagant or expensive. And with the kissing on the first date thing, I might not have that traditional of a view on it, because I think like if I don't get kissed, then that was like a failure of a date. And that's probably not the right way to look at it, probably not how everyone looks at it, but that's my take.
Yeah, I think it all really just depends on the individual. I would say that for me, kissing on the first date, it would just depend on the situation. If it feels right, then it is right. If it feels wrong, then you probably shouldn't go through with it. As far as an ideal first date goes, for me personally, I would say probably like going to a coffee shop, like in a quiet place, so you can talk and get to know each other and see if you're compatible that way.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Ideal first date, something cheap and something where you can play 20 questions, because obviously it's the first date. You got to get to know each other. You got to know who you're working with here, because it's either going to be a yes, there's going to be a second date, or, well, there's no more date. And to the first kiss, I think it's a case-by-case basis. You got to know, you know, you got to see the signs coming off. You got to read each other. It should be, you know, hinted a little bit if it's going to lead to that, and if it doesn't, oh well. That's what the second date's for.
Yeah, and there's always a hug. You know, that can get awkward too. But you know, sometimes the hug can, you know, like cue you in, because you know.
The hug can be the worst part of it.
It really
we got the above head, you know, I'll keep you warm hug because you're too tall for the person, and they go in low for that linebacker pickup hug. Or you do the too tight around.
Or your heads go the wrong way.
Oh, the hug could just be the worst.
Or just the light pat, you know, that's really awkward too. And that's where you take it like, oh, okay, maybe this didn't go, you know, as well as I thought. Or maybe there's not going to be a second date if there's just like an awkward patting hug. That's what I think.
That's why handshakes are
That's
really nice.
handshakes.
You just can't beat a handshake.
Can't beat a handshake. Well, I don't know how I would take it if a guy shook my hand after a date. I would probably laugh, though.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
It would be. It would
something
be
to talk
different.
about to the grandkids. Maybe not
For
his
sure.
grandkids, but somebody's grandkids.
Somebody's grandkids are getting talked to here, definitely. Well, with that, it is time to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned, though. We will be right back with advice for questions from UWSP's Love Confessions Facebook page.
My name is Julia Flaherty. I'm the current promotions director at SBTV. My job allows for me to have a lot of personal creative direction because that is the team environment that we instill here at SBTV. This past summer, I had the opportunity to write for hercampus.com as well as thedailyquirk.com. Personally, I feel that being involved with SBTV has really helped boost my confidence and my ability to network with other students. If student media is something that interests you, and even if you're not really sure what student media means, you should stop by our studios. We are looking forward to having you involved this year, and we cannot wait to make media with you.
The Love Doctor is in. Watch SBTV's new series featuring college dating advice, love confessions, and more. Mykayla Hilgart is the Love Doctor. Watch the new series premiering this fall on SBTV Charter Channel 983.
Welcome back to the Love Doctor. It is now time to answer some questions off of UWSP's Love Confessions Facebook page. The first question is, I asked if you could help me study, but instead we talked for an hour and a half about comic-related stuff. However, I am 11 years older than you. FML, why can't I meet someone with similar interests closer to my own age? I feel like a creep when I become interested in someone around here. Well, with these age gaps, I really think my personal philosophy is if you're both 18, anything's game. Really, if you have similar interests, just go for it. I mean, it doesn't matter what other people think, and as long as you're both emotionally ready for a relationship, I really think that's okay. I tend to personally be attracted to older guys myself. I find that they have to at least be like 2 years older, and that 6 to 8 year range seems to be like the sweet spot for me. I'll be honest. But yeah, it really depends upon the person, and I mean, the maturity level can differ too. I find with girls, they tend to mature quicker, not all the time, and the older guy thing might be a good idea for some, not all, but what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Julia.
I don't know. To me, it kind of sounded like this person's problem isn't so much the age thing as it is they just aren't interested in the same hobbies or interests.
Right.
And I mean, I think it's healthy to have different likes and interests in a relationship. As far as the age gap goes, I think you have the right mindset. I would say that if you two are both in that same frame of mind where you think it's okay to be dating one another, then it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, we got two different situations going on here. The first one with the interest, obviously this individual found someone that they like the same stuff, but there's going to be someone out there with the same interests in your age group, Yeah. So that's taken care of right there. The whole age gap with dating, I don't know about the whole 18 years old. I mean, some people are mature enough, but you're just so fresh and new coming out of high school and everything. Mm-hmm. Do you really know what it's like being in your mid-20s? I know I'm a very different person from when I was 18.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So if an 18-year-old is dating someone who's 24, 25, I would have an issue with that. So I don't know if I could handle that, especially being a parent. I'd be a little...
Oh, that too. The parents come into play, for sure.
Well, Forrest has I feel like you have something there where you're saying like people just coming into college are totally different than like a senior who's about to graduate college, because especially if they're going to move away from the school, it's like how do you maintain that sort of a relationship?
And that'll turn into a long-term relationship. And those can go either way as well.
And you're just kind of at different points in your life, at different points in your 20s as well, which I think is important to point out. But, on a college campus like this, I think a lot of people come back from being in the military and stuff, and they're a little bit older. I definitely don't think it's wrong to be interested in someone who's younger than you. I think it's completely acceptable. Exactly. Yeah, it just depends on the scenario. But I say here, just go for it. I mean, go with what.
Just be careful.
Just be careful.
Yeah. Proceed with caution.
Yeah, proceed with caution. I think we all agree there.
Okay. Well, our second question is, Dear Crush, I am pretty sure I like you, but I am pretty sure the feeling is not mutual. But you are cute, and I'm always happy to be able to spend whatever little time I can with you. Maybe one day I will have the courage to ask you. Sincerely, a girl.
Interesting.
Well, here I think you should just go for it. Tell him how you feel. The worst that's going to happen is he's not going to feel the same way. But you never know if you don't ask. It's better to just be direct and figure that out.
I was watching this show. It wasn't very good, but whatever. I was on Netflix, and anyway, they actually said something that I think had some truth to it. It was basically like you'll regret the things you don't do more than the things that you do go through with. So I agree. I think that you need to give it a shot, and relationships are a lot about being brave and making the first move. It's really nerve-wracking for everyone.
Yeah, and speaking of shots, it's a lot like basketball. You miss every shot you don't take. So you have to find out one way or another, and you just have to build up that courage, because that's all it takes is about 2 seconds of courage, and then you'll find out, because more times than not, I think that person is probably interested in you back if you can kind of feel out some vibes a little bit there. But if it goes wrong, we'll just move on to the next shot.
Yeah,
plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And like you said, I mean, he probably is interested too if you're hanging out a lot, especially alone. And you really never know unless you take that leap of faith and ask.
You might build it up in your head to be a bigger deal than what it is too.
Exactly. And sometimes guys are oblivious. I mean, he could be, and girls too.
Yeah.
But he could be oblivious to the fact that you're interested, and he could be like, oh, whoa, I am interested in her, and I never considered that.
No one can read minds.
Too. Exactly.
Well, some people can.
Oh, maybe Forrest can.
Nobody I know.
I'm not telling.
Yeah. All right, well, it is time for another quick commercial break, but stay tuned for our final question. We'll be right back.
My name is Jackie Lang. I graduated from UW Stevens Point in 2013. I started off coming to general members meetings, showing up for the shows. From the first show that I was a part of, I just absolutely loved it. Now that I've graduated, I currently work at WFRV TV, which is Channel 5, the CBS affiliate in Green Bay. I also freelance for Lashbro Visual Communications. All of my experience, all of my knowledge came from SPTV, and I will forever be grateful to this organization for that.
How can you get involved with student media at UWSP? Connecting with your campus television station, SPTV, is easy. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Vine, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Pinterest, follow us on Instagram, or connect with us on Google+. But of course, the best way for you to get involved and stay up to date with all that is happening at our station is to stop by our studio. We're located in the Communication Arts Center at UWSP, Studio B, Room 121. You can also drop by our office, Room 130, for more information on station happenings. We can't wait to get you involved. Come join us at SPTV. Let's make media together.
Stevie Pointer loves SPTV News and the news' producers. Watch SPTV News Weekly for breaking, campus, and local news across Stevens Point. Only on Charter Channel 983. Serving a campus of 9,600 strong. We are the home of UWSP Television. We are SPTV. You can find us on Charter Channel 983, online, or on any of our social media sites.
Our final question from UWSP Love Confessions is a simple one. Why don't taller girls like shorter guys, ladies?
Well, would you look at this? It looks like we're targeting Julia a little bit.
So throughout my life, I've generally been considered a taller girl. I like 5'7", 5'8". That's where I am. And I don't want to speak for a general population of girls that are considered taller, okay? Because it all depends on the person. Personally, I think that I get into the mindset I don't want to say I can't be with someone shorter than me, but I typically don't picture myself with someone who's shorter than me just because I don't want to feel like I'm the physically larger person in the relationship. That would make me feel really insecure and awkward. So that's my personal opinion.
That definitely makes sense. And I am a shorter girl. I'm 5'2". I definitely like taller guys as well. It's not as much to ask for me, I guess, but still at 5'7", 5'8", there's a decent amount of guys that are taller than that.
Yeah.
But I think you just like that, feeling like the girl, like being able to be picked up and carried and everything. Like, who doesn't like that?
Or we were talking about hugs earlier. You want
the spinny hug.
Okay, I kind of want the guy to have more, more of a grab. I feel like I generally associate that with someone who has a taller frame.
I do agree with that.
Well, I'm neither a shorter girl or a taller girl. I am a guy. And I can see how a woman would appreciate a taller man for a numerous amount of reasons. First off, just our culture. We always see those pictures of the girl on like their tippy toes, leaning up to kiss the guy. Or a lot of women, a good amount I'd say, like wearing high heels. And if they throw high heels on and they're with a shorter guy, it's like a giraffe. And it's just
that can get, and then the guy doesn't like it either, because a lot of times the guy won't like being towered over, and so that comes into play too.
It makes some men feel insecure.
It does.
Was seeing a guy in high school, and I specifically recall I wore heels once, and he looked at me and he was like, "Wow, you're really tall today," and you could just the tone.
No, the tone. Gotta love the tone.
Yeah.
But I don't think that should put diss a shorter guy from going after a taller girl.
No, definitely not.
He should take that as a challenge, almost like climbing Everest. If he can get the taller girl, he's made it, and he's set a standard for all short guys. I mean, you just got to be the one.
Yeah, you just never know. Exactly. Like I keep saying, go for it.
Yep.
That's kind of my motto.
Go for what you want.
Go for
it,
want.
guys.
Just because you're shorter, it doesn't mean you don't have a winning personality that could just sweep her off her feet. It could absolutely happen.
And that goes the same for taller girls. If you like a shorter guy, don't be ashamed of it. It's okay to be taller.
Exactly. Well,
I just wanted to
I think we feel really positive now. I think this was
vertical
perspective.
challenges.
All right. Well, it is now time for our final segment where we answer questions direct from our viewers via our SurveyMonkey link on our Facebook page. Our first question is, how do I overcome loneliness? I am an independent person, but sometimes, especially late at night, I can't help but feel alone and rejected. Well, I think with this, you just really got to be confident in yourself and with everything you've got going in your life. I mean, even if you don't have a relationship or anybody who's interested in you, you can focus on your career, really get ahead with that. College is a perfect time for that, to really focus on other things and not obsess over the fact that nobody's taking you on a date or what have you.
Right. You can't take things too seriously. I mean, it's good to be serious if you're ready to be serious, but if you're taking yourself too seriously, odds are you're not going to put out the best vibes to get yourself out there in the dating scene.
I read a little quote recently, and it said, "Destiny is the bridge you build to the one you love." So I think you have to focus on yourself, what you want to do with your life, like you said, your career. Build yourself up, build your future up, and that special person will, show up along the way at some point, and you should know at that point too.
Yeah, and you shouldn't obsess over it.
No.
I mean, there's friends to hang out with, everything.
Right.
A lot of times that can be even more fun than being in a relationship, especially at this time in our lives.
Yeah, you can't really push things to happen. Sometimes they just happen.
Exactly, and the best things happen when you aren't expecting them to, when you aren't, actively looking for someone, and you'll just stumble upon someone.
And that's usually when these things happen. But like you said, just focus on the friends, focus on having fun, and focus on yourself.
Exactly. All on the same page with that.
That's right.
Our second question is, should I start online dating in college? Is that too desperate? Which sites should I try?
Well, I don't think we should shut anything out here. I mean, online dating, it's definitely worked for a lot of people. It depends upon, what your mindset is. Do you know what you want, who you want, where you're going with your life, I think, a lot of people are on Tinder, and sometimes, I've even seen relationships spur from Tinder. I mean, it can work for people, and OkCupid, I've seen that too. I have an interesting relationship with dating sites. I'll create a profile, this elaborate, about me thing, and then, usually less than 24 hours later, I'll delete it because I'm like, oh no, this isn't for me. I haven't, nobody interesting. I haven't found anybody in the past 5 minutes. Never gonna happen. Or you feel embarrassed that you're even on it, which you shouldn't feel embarrassed.
Yeah, why the essential panic over the first 5 minutes of not getting any interest?
I guess you just feel, like this was an act of desperation, and then you feel kind of crappy about yourself. But I really think that there's a lot to be said for giving it a chance, because it can work.
Well, I don't think in college it's necessary. I don't think you need to do any online dating. I think college, it's so social that you can go to the library, sporting events, the cafeteria, for crying out loud, if you still have those, classrooms. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to meet people. I think the online dating, you kind of hold off unless you're, out of these big social areas.
Right.
So I don't think it's necessary. So just start talking to people.
I could see that, okay, but I think that dating sites maybe get a bad rap, that they're kind of a last resort for people, and they're seen as a thing like, well, I don't have anyone in my life, I need someone, online dating is my only option, and you can't really narrow your sights to that. I mean, you should probably try and get yourself out there, because you're going to have to end up talking to them eventually. So if you're going in it with the mindset like, I can't meet anyone around me, you're kind of already putting yourself in a bad dating game.
It's a good option. I just think with the college time period,
definitely a social atmosphere. Yeah, and I personally never go into it too seriously. I'm not like, oh, I need a relationship. It's just more of a for fun thing. But then you're like, I don't need this. That's part of it too. Like why I feel silly for even being on here, because I could go outside right now and maybe meet a guy. You never know.
Just walking out your front door.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
A lot of guys are outside too.
Indeed, outside
and inside.
And inside
they can be
as well.
Either or.
Yes. They're a living, breathing people everywhere.
Yes.
They will adapt.
Whoa. Yes. Well, we're going to take one more quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with our final viewer question. Stay tuned, lovebirds.
Hey, you. Are you creative? Do you like television? Would you like to make a show that appears on air? Then SBTV is the place for you. At SBTV, you can appear on air, learn how to shoot and edit video, write and produce your own show, and most importantly, gain skills and experiences that will last a lifetime. Want to join us at SBTV? Come check us out in the Communication Arts Center, rooms 121 and 130. We'd love to meet you. SBTV. Let's make media together. My name is Lance Castor. I graduated from UW-Stevens Point in 2014. I started at SPTV my junior year. I was looking for a fun experience that also provided me with a chance to learn something, and SPTV was the place to come. Right now, I'm employed at WFRV-TV, the CBS affiliate located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I can handle it because of what I was able to learn here at SPTV. You can be as creative as you want here. The only limits are those that you put on yourself. Those limits will...
Welcome back, everyone. Our final viewer question is, I just broke up with my high school boyfriend. How do I move on and get back out there? Ladies, any thoughts?
Well, I think here, everything happens for a reason. Even if you don't believe that all the time, it can be really reassuring to tell yourself that. Move on to bigger and better things. There was a reason it didn't work out, probably. You'll find somebody that it will work out with somewhere down the line. It might not be right away. It might not be 10 years from now, but, eventually it can happen. And I mean, don't get down on yourself. You broke up with him for a reason, obviously.
I feel like when breakups happen, it's a good time to reflect upon yourself and who you are and where you want to go in your life, since you are without someone that you might have been with for a while. And just staying close to your good friends and talking with them and working it out together, that always helps.
Well, here's your first problem. You dated someone and continued to date them through high school into college. Now, for some people, you got the high school sweethearts, which is just awesome. Outstanding that you can find, two people, high school, and continue a relationship into marriage, like all that good stuff. My parents, I know a lot of friends that have that. Awesome. For the other people who kind of just going to college and they're still kind of on the rocks and everything, and they're at different schools and it's just not working, I mean, what are you doing? Putting yourself through a lot of stress, come on. And then you break up, you should feel like relieved. I mean, you're free. Take the shackles off and get out there and have a great time. I mean, grab the world and just talk to everyone, live it up.
Exactly.
There shouldn't be a problem. I mean, sure, a breakup, it's hard. Nothing's easy. I mean, especially a breakup. You're heartbroken. But I think you need to just take this opportunity to rebuild and get your heart stronger and attack. Attack with love.
Literally, yeah.
Not like go
in
up and
I
don't want anyone to beat anyone up here,
no.
but just
We're building strength on Love Dr. Stevens'
Yes.
point.
Truly, it's a great time for self-reflection and figuring out who you really are, what you really want out of life, and being really confident in yourself, because you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else, very obviously.
Well said, Love Doctor.
Indeed.
Yeah, I read a quote recently.
Another one.
It goes, "Destiny is the bridge you build to the one you love." And I think that's what you have to do. You have to just focus on yourself. You got to get over the breakup and just go out there, continue moving forward, and everything will meet up in the end.
Is that your life motto? No?
It's not a motto. It's just a quote I read time and time again.
I think it sounds like your motto. I think it should be your motto.
It would fit you.
Well, I am a straight shooter.
You are, truly.
But yeah, I think breakups are tough, but you just got to move on with your life.
Exactly. And why obsess over it? Why spend time dwelling on it when you can have fun? I mean, life is awesome.
Yeah.
We should enjoy it.
Let go of the stress. Be free.
Let it go. Let it go.
The past is the past for a reason.
Indeed. I think we all are on the same page with that. All right. Well, that is about all the time we have today. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope we offered someone some help out there. Be sure to keep up to date with all of our lovely happenings by liking us on Facebook at The Love Doctor on SPTV. Of course, feel free to submit your anonymous romance questions to us via our SurveyMonkey link. They will all be answered by us on the show. Until next time, you are in our hearts, UWSP.
How can you get involved with student media at UWSP? Connecting with your campus television station, SPTV, is easy. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Vine, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Pinterest, follow us on Instagram, or connect with us on Google+. But of course, the best way for you to get involved and stay up to date with all that is happening at our station is to stop by our studio. We're located in the Communication Arts Center at UWSP, Studio B, Room 121. You can also drop by our office, Room 130, for more information on station happenings. We can't wait to get you involved. Come join us at SPTV. Let's make media together.
Has already begun to capstone course.